We got Jimmy Somewhere here. What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm home for Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
you're from
relaxing.
Norway, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm from
you're all across the globe right now. Huh? What time is it over there?
it's like it's 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Okay. Yeah, it's you're
Yeah,
like literally the reverse. It's 12 p.m. here in
yeah,
Los Angeles right now.
yeah,
You have a good Christmas?
yeah. It's been chill. I get a little restless being home, but I brought like some equipment. I'm making some music in the basement here, like I used to. So it's fun.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I used to bring my my stuff with me a lot when I would visit home, and then I just kind of I've stopped doing that as of late. But where are you
Right.
living? Are you living in the States regularly now?
No, actually, I got an apartment in Oslo. It's like the capital
Oh,
of
nice.
Norway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I try to visit as often as I can. So I'm usually I'm like in LA a lot, but now with COVID and everything, I've been stranded here in Oslo.
Sure, sure. So I know you got your LP coming out early 2021, which is just around the corner. Nothing gold can stay. But before we talk about that, would you mind taking us back and just letting us know how you got into music to begin with?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it started in this room, which is now my dad's office. But
Uh huh.
no, I kind of always like ever since I was like 6, 7, I've like written songs, and it's just been like a thing in my life for as long as I can remember. So I don't remember like exactly how like it started, but I think it began when I like found Eminem, which I became like super obsessed with, like
Uh huh.
super like huge like Eminem fan. I would like watch like all these interviews and just thought like him as an artist was very like mesmerizing and I wanted to like
Right.
be like that. But and then I just started like writing songs. And like the first song I wrote was a song called "You Are in Danger," which was kind of like
Hmm.
me trying to make like a thriller type, like like spooky and like Halloween song with like a friend of mine when I was like 7, I think. And
Uh huh.
yeah, and from there on, I just started like forming. There was a lot of like bands. I formed like a lot of bands at my elementary, and like all these kids came like in and out because I like kicked them out if they didn't take it like serious enough. Uh,
Uh huh.
yeah, so I would write songs to that, and we would cover My Chemical Romance and stuff like Green Day, and yeah, so it's kind of just
Do you
always
remember?
been this big.
Do you remember that first Eminem album that kind of put you onto him? Do you
Yeah, I
remember which one
think
it
it was
was?
like uh, I think the first one that I really like fell in love with was like the Eminem show, and then it kind of just went from there.
Right.
I found like everything else, but that was like the start. Yeah.
So how'd you go from Eminem, a hip hop artist, to really getting into more of kind of the rock sound that you were into, like you said, your
Yeah,
My Chemical Romance and all that.
right. I think well my sisters used to listen to like a lot of different music. So like my I have two sisters and my oldest sister used to listen to a lot of Coldplay. So whenever I like came into her room and we're Coldplay playing, and then my other sister had like Green Day and more like rock stuff playing. And I remember like the first time I
Right.
heard Green Day, it was like just like such an experience because I felt kind of euphoric, which never like music never made me feel like that like energetic, and I was like, what is this kind of like? I just felt like it was like magic, like the pop punk,
Yeah.
all the energy and like the feeling of it, and so yeah, I just and like once I got heavy into Eminem, I would just like start going down this rabbit hole of like all kinds of things and music, and just like be on YouTube, as my generation like grew up on like YouTube and stuff, and
Sure.
find everything. And yeah, and my father's like a big like Pink Floyd fan and like Elton John, so he would take me to see like Roger Waters when he was in Norway, and like yeah, so there's been a lot of
Nice.
different influences.
When you say you were writing music, were you creating anything production wise on the computer or with an instrument, or were you mostly just writing down lyrics and having someone else do the music? How did it begin?
In the start, it was just like live, you know. It's just like I wrote songs for the band, and then the band would like perform it at like school things or uh, like you know like community things, just like different
Right.
local stuff. But in like I think in middle school, when I found in middle school I found like Joey Badass and like the whole like new wave of like rap with like Mac Miller and like Chance the
Yeah.
Rapper and all that. So I wanted to do that, and that's when I bought like a mic. And but I used to just download beats off YouTube and like try to rap over them. So it was
Nice. Oh,
no,
that's a good idea.
yeah.
So, what took you from jamming with your friends, at school and community things to taking it a little bit more seriously and putting out actual great your records now have great production and all
Yeah,
that. So tell us a
thank
little
you.
bit about that journey.
It kind of changed when I met like in 8th grade. I met my now like my producer Milo Orchis. I met in 8th grade, and he was making like EDM songs, and I was really shy about like me like singing or rapping or whatever in my lyrics. So I would just like have him make me kind of like beats, try to like make me beats, but I would never like show him anything. But and then he would like put out his own like EDM songs, and I would make like the artwork for that. So it'd be like we felt like a team, but weren't really like making music together like that. He would just like send me whatever. And then eventually after like
So
a
you you
long
would- you would
time of
get his beats, but you wouldn't send them back to him, so he wouldn't know what you were doing with them.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay.
But and then like eventually we started at the same like high school, and my first year in high school is when we really like kind of came together. And then he's been producing for like 3 4 years, so he started to get like good at it, and I started to like figure out kind of more like specifically what I wanted to do, like uh, and then I remember I found like Kevin Abstract from Brockhampton really early, which was like a big like moment. Whereas the first time I heard like something made just by some kids sound so professional, and that's when I kind of realized that, oh shit, we
Mm.
can make like some real music here. And then we started just like we bought like new like recording equipment and got to it, and pretty quickly like Escape, which was like my first real single, came out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been listening to your stuff, and the production's great on it. So Kevin Abstract kind of inspired you to be like, hey, just because I'm young doesn't mean that I can't make great sounding records.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like Milo is a really good producer, and there was a lot of years of just like us kind of just like practicing on our own before we kind of really joined forces and we're like, okay, we can make like actual music here.
Right, right. So you released a few different singles this year: "Wedding in My Car," "Jesus," "Bottle
Yeah,
Rocket," "Selfish." So you've been releasing a lot of music despite the craziness of 2020. Tell us a little
yeah.
bit about those tracks you've been releasing.
They're all like album tracks, and all like special songs to me. I think Bottle Rocket, the first one, it's one of my favorite songs that we made, and it's like it was also one of the like last songs we made for the album because we needed like something with like high energy and something that really like bangs. So we made that in
Yeah.
like December like last year, and the other songs been around for a while. Like Jesus, we made in like 2017. Wedding, we started in 2017, and like in my car is from early 2019. um so all the music, honestly, all the music on the album is very like spread out. We made it like over like since like 2016 uh to now. It's just
Mm.
kind of been like a process of us like wanting to make an album from the jump, but also knowing that like the music we made back then wasn't like as good as we wanted like an album to sound. So we kind of been working on it
Right.
like on the side and like putting these pieces to the side whenever we made something that felt like, okay, this hits like deeper than like an EP or like a loose single. Um, so that's all the songs that like are coming out now are a product of that.
So these are tracks that are going to be on Nothing Gold Can Stay.
Yeah, yeah, all of them are.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about Nothing Gold Can Stay. That's going to be dropping around February 5th,
Yeah,
which is not too far away. I feel like it's going to come sooner than later. So we're already
yeah,
at the
for
end of
sure,
December here. So
for
and
sure.
you're releasing that via Next Wave Ultra Records.
Yeah.
So aside from the singles that we've heard already, tell us a little bit about the album.
Um, it's like I feel like it's super like Jimmy Somewhere. Like it's we wanted to make something that was like um the reason that we kind of started the project. Since it's like the debut album, I wanted it to be like this like very big, very emotional, and like all these like larger than life like feelings, big hooks and explosives, and there's like a lot of skits on there, and like we wanted to there's a lot of transitions and things. I just wanted to create like a really like cohesive piece of work that felt like um the debut album of Jimmy Somewhere. Like this is like the real like intro. um and then we can like experiment on whatever like later, but this first one is gonna be like uh I didn't want to be afraid of like the cliches on the first one. um
Right. You wanted
and
this to be the definitive base of Jimmy Somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And that's what I felt like we created, and that's why it also took so long for us to like find these songs, and make and like make these songs as good as we possibly could. And it's like it's all produced by like Milo, and it's everything is written by me except like the feature verses. And Milo's also mixed the whole thing, which is like a hell of a process. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's impressive because that's two totally different art forms for those
yeah,
for those casual listeners. I mean, that's mixing is a job in itself, and
for sure,
so
for
I
sure.
I heard a thing yesterday. It was like to have a great record, first you got to have a great song. Then you gotta have a great producer. Then you gotta have a great mixer, and then you gotta have a great
Right.
master. And it's like, and it's like if
Exactly.
you mess, and it's like any one of those steps won't really make up for the other steps, except maybe the
No,
the
yeah.
song itself. That's the most
Yeah.
important part.
Yeah,
So
100%.
so I get it though. You want to have a definitive record because I feel like that's important. Because if you come out with something that's just kind of all over the place, I feel like it's harder to kind of develop a kind of a fan base because they don't
Yeah.
really know where you're coming from. But if they know where you're coming from initially, I feel like fans are more willing to go on that exploratory journey with you to other areas.
Exactly. Exactly. And like I look up to Kanye a lot, and that first college dropout is so like definitive, like you said, of Kanye as an artist with all like the soul sampling and like the beats, and then
Hmm.
things kind of like he explored a lot, but you still feel like the core which you felt in like college dropout through like all his albums, even though the sound kind of changed. There's still like soul samples all over the place, and there's still like the funny like honest lyrics, and yeah.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then they get excited. Even if you're exploring, they'll hear a little bit of that old Jimmy somewhere, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah,
Right.
there it
Yeah.
is."
Yeah, exactly.
S- so, do you have plans besides releasing the LP for next year? Are you already writing stuff for the next record? Are you hoping to do some touring if everything allows for it?
I'm very open for anything. I'm always excited to make music. So we started the second record, and we have already like 7 8 songs that I'm like considering for it, and like more just coming in. And the past week before we left for like Christmas vacation, we just like made a lot of songs, just trying to have like the most fun we could. We just like, all right, now we're just gonna write these songs as if they're never coming out, just to like not think about like what like anything. And we made like some pretty cool tracks that I want to put out like as loose singles, and then yeah, always just
Mm.
thinking about what we can do for like the next album that's like refreshing and exciting, and then hopefully we'll do some like shows too. But you never know with this virus.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I feel like that's like a great, I feel like a great mindset to just kind of shake off the expectations and loosen yourself up. It's kind of, when they say dance like no one's watching, so you can really just get
Exactly.
into it. I feel like make some music like no one's going to hear it, and then you can just be
Yeah.
as loose and just really experimental, because hey, if it works it
Yeah.
works, if not, who cares, no one's going to hear it. And then if you get something
Right.
great out of it, then awesome.
Yeah, because sometimes you get kind of just like stuck in this box that you like create for yourself, where it's like, oh, like there's certain things that like I shouldn't be like saying on record or like talking about that wouldn't be like me or whatever, or just like, but it's still like me, or like wouldn't be like Jimmy Somewhere is would be like the right thing, where it's like where I feel like, oh, like this can't be on like a Jimmy Somewhere record. I just wanted to throw all that out the window. Just like try for a week to just see like what kind of songs we would make if I just like just wrote whatever and just like tried to just like, yeah, go off of uh, intuition, I guess.
So tell us a little bit about where you came up with the name Jimmy Somewhere.
I grew up on like Odd Future and stuff like that. So, and I always thought like
Hmm.
Earl Sweatshirt was a cool last name, and I thought like Frank Ocean was a cool
Yeah,
last name. So I was just like, all right,
yeah,
this is just like it's a name and it's a word. So I was just like, I love the
yeah.
name Jimmy, and it's also kind of like, I mean, my real name is Benjamin, so it's just like Benjamin Jimmy. It's not too far. And then
Sure.
somewhere, just I just thought somewhere like sounded like dreamy and nice or whatever it fit. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's honestly that I might regret it in the future, but it still holds up for now.
No, it's cool. And now that you've explained it, it makes total sense. You could totally jump into Odd Future and be a member now.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I'm trying to do.
Earl Sweatshirt, Jimmy Somewhere.
Right.
So and tell us a little bit about "Nothing Gold Can Stay," because that's a quote. Was that from The Outsiders? I'm trying to. There's been I've heard that
Yeah.
quote in a few different areas. But tell us what particularly inspired you to make that the record name.
It's a Robert Frost poem that they used in The Outsiders, and I always thought it was really like beautiful, and it's I'm a very like nostalgic person, and I'm a
Hmm.
very like, I always try to like create these memories and like do like my whole youth. I just try to like do things that felt, big and like um yeah, I don't know how to like romantic, like I always try to like romanticize like the things we were doing, and
Sure.
it just kind of felt like nothing go can stay. Like all these songs are very much about like these memories I had, and like things that have changed, and like relationships that have come and gone, and like friendships that have come and gone, and like these moments we shared when we still like had it. And so I just felt like Nothing Go Can Stay was like a fitting title, that like everything ends, but it sounds more hopeful if you say like Nothing Go Can Stay, than like just like everything ends sounds like darker. um
Right,
so
right.
that sounds,
It's like we had
yeah,
something great, right?
right, yeah. So and
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Do you feel like, speaking of like going back some years, you mentioned that some of these songs you had written 4 years ago. Are you dealing with what some artists go through, when they wait a while to release a track, where it almost, I know you addressed this a little bit, but are you starting to feel like a different person than the person who wrote some of these songs?
um and that's a good question. Not really, honestly. I feel like I of course have like grown a lot, but I feel like I've just gotten more like confident rather than I've changed, because I always feel like I've been pretty much myself, and like had the same like, I've had the same like passion forever, and I had the same friends forever, and even though we've like done a lot, and like I've kind of yeah, like I said, of course, like grown and like matured or whatever, uh still feels good. At least these songs, because like we put these songs to the side for like a reason, because it felt special. But there's of course things that we have like thought about putting on the record one time that I like now look at and like, okay, this was not good. Like we should that we scrapped. Um, but other than that, and
Right.
there's of course like some changes have been made, and we've like re-recorded stuff with like better equipment and yeah. But uh, but other than that, like yeah, we've kept it the same. We want to make like timeless stuff, so it's important to us that it like if it doesn't last like 4 years, then you know it's whatever.
Right. Well, that's good. Yeah, and that's good because I do hear sometimes artists will be like, "Oh, I waited too long, and now these songs don't feel like me." But if you have if you still feel great about the songs, then yeah, then you kind of set out what you don't want to look back and cringe at anything that you made. I mean, of course, I
No,
mean it
yeah,
happens, but to know that 4 years later you still love these songs, that's a great feeling. What
yeah.
do you attribute your because you've picked up some great momentum already. You haven't dropped your debut LP already, but you've already accrued a lot of fans. Just I'm looking at your Spotify before the interview, and you got a lot of traction already. What do you attribute that to? Any one or a few things?
I mean, um, the Boy Pablo team has done a lot to bring me like recognition and like a lot of people have found me through Boy Pablo, and we did like a tour with them in like 2018, where we felt like we grew a lot in like fans and people got like a different connection with us. Um, and
Mm,
then we did like Never Cared together, which also like is my biggest song, and like was like a big moment and brought like a lot of people to my music. So I think like that's been like really important. My friendship with Boy Pablo and that whole team, and they're really amazing people. So it's always been like super fun and yeah. And then it's just like other than that, I feel like it's me and like Milo, um, who pretty much like because we do all these things ourselves, and like the label helps with like money and stuff, but it's always like hard to create opportunity. And like me and Milo went to like LA in 2018, just like on um with like no expectation before like the label and or anything, where we met like a lot of people that have become like important to us. And it's kind of always been just us like chasing this and doing the most we can to have the music heard.
yeah. So you guys been hustling. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
Jimmy, it sounds like you guys are about to drop something big in February, so we're stoked to hear it. Loving what you got out already. We like to
thank
end
you.
the interview by asking if you had one piece of advice for aspiring artists, what would it be?
I think just this is like a it's probably basic but it's like practice makes perfect. It's just like do if you want to do something, do it as much as you can, which is also why you should love it first. That should be like the first thing. You should love it, you should be like obsessed with it, and then you should do it as much as you can. Like I said, I'm home on like Christmas vacation, the like 1 week of the year where I'm home, and I brought like all this equipment with me, not because of like any other
Right.
reason than like I love to do this and I want to get better. Like I always want to get better, and I think like that's the most important. And just like other than that, just roll the dice and take a chance and put the music out. Also, is another one, because like I have a lot of friends that like make a lot of music and never really put it out because they're always like, oh, I don't know, like if people are gonna like hear this, or like what's the reason I should put it out if nobody hears it or whatever. And that's just like if you don't put it out, then definitely nobody will hear it. But like even
Yeah.
if like one
Yeah.
person find it and love it, then it's like worth it. So make a lot and
Sure.
put it out. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you got to put in those. What do they say? It's 10,000 hours or something to be a
Yeah.
master at
Yeah.
something. I mean, so you
Yeah.
got to be clocking those hours at some point.
Bringing it backward.